What a day in college football
Mm.
yesterday. Week 4 in the books. It's already flying by. We knew that this was going to happen. We got so much to talk about. We're going to preview the NFL slate to take all your fantasy questions. I do want to let everybody know right now we're going to try and get to every single one of your questions. We know a lot of people have a lot of questions about their team. Some want to brag. Some may need to be brought back down to earth a little bit. May need to get a little bit of reality dropped on them. But before you do any of that, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, please. Really easy. It's basically free. I mean, it is free. And turn that notification bell on. This is your first time joining us. We're a Crane & Company. We go live each weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. That's 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central. But stays on YouTube, Daily Wire Plus, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all day. We have live calls we take during the week, and we have a live chat like this one as well. Now, if you do donate, your question will definitely get moved to the top. It will get read when it is relevant. And also, if you want another way to really help out, go buy some merch from the Crane & Company merch store. That would be fantastic. That's better than a donation because technically, I mean, it's a donation. So, but all right, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, Blaine
Morning.
Crane from Western State, Colorado.
What?
Guys, I want to get into it. Let's just hop right into it.
Let's
It was
go.
a hell of a slate of games from start to finish. I was in a football coma all yesterday. When we get done with this, I'm about to go watch Scott Hansen on Red Zone and just pray. But got to start Florida State, Clemson. Going to get to Notre Dame, obviously. Crazy game back and forth a little bit there at the end. We saw Clemson miss that field goal. Physically, I was shocked at the plan that Clemson had. They just decided to run man on the outside a lot against Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. Florida State wasn't able to complete as much on the outside, but they found a way. This team just knows how to win. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, well, Clemson lost the game. It's Clemsoning. And yeah, look, missing that field goal at the end, it was brutal. That's why you don't bring in, a guy selling pink slips like he's on Wolf of Wall Street to come in and kick. But man, Jordan Travis and Florida State, David, they just found a way.
Yeah, well, on the Clemson side, it was more than just missing that field goal late. It was mismanagement of the clock. That was one of the things surprised me. Trying to run an end-around screen there towards the end of the game when you were in the red zone, that surprised me. But I will say this about Clemson. I thought they played well. I thought they played with a lot of confidence. And, Cade Klubnik didn't lose this game. I actually thought he took a positive step forward despite the loss. Now, take that for what it is because now you have 2 losses in the ACC. And I think after we saw them on the road at Duke, we weren't really thinking that this was going to be that typical Clemson national championship contender type team, but they gave Florida State all they could handle. They put themselves in a position to win, and that Florida State defense, I think, is what's going to keep them in every single game. They still have some things to iron out on the offensive side of the ball. It kind of looked a lot like what we saw against Boston College and that first half against LSU. I still haven't seen Florida State put it all together on the offensive side of the ball, except for that second half against LSU. But those outside receivers and just the athletic ability of Jordan Travis, I think that if that side of the ball continues to grow, then we're going to be talking about a Florida State team that can have postseason aspirations.
Blaine, you look at Cade Klubnik, something we talked about all week. One of the keys to victory for Clemson was his ability to run the ball and extend the play outside of the pocket, be able to extend some drives on 3rd and 6 by taking off. And he did that, man. I mean, he ended up going 25 of 38, 283 yards, 283 yards, a touchdown. Only had 10 rushing yards, but ran one in, was good enough extending the play. Jordan Travis on the other end really didn't have a ton of scrambling yards. I mean, he ended up having -2. He did have the touchdown where he snuck it in. But the catch by Keon Coleman, the defensive play on the scoop and score where they brought the zone pressure and hit Cade with his eyes downfield. At the end of the day, that was the difference.
I mean, right now, you look – if you're a Clemson fan, even in a loss to this game, this is the best game you played all season by far. You should be excited about a lot of things. One, your defense, from a front seven standpoint, you got one of the best defenses in the nation, especially that linebacker room. It's unbelievable. Give Florida State a lot of credit for even just being able to run the ball, move the ball, and stay on time against a Clemson defense like this. And Cade Klubnik showed up in this game. A lot of questions was about Cade. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only – I felt like their skill position players played okay, played better than I thought they were going to. I thought up front they played okay. Look, Florida State's one of those teams you got experience. I mean, you have Jordan, who's an absolute leader at quarterback. You have guys in the back end who have experience. You saw that safety come down on that blitz. It was a great call, by the way. But Cade's got to feel that, and he will with time.
Yeah.
This Florida State team right now, okay, from a full package football team, you could say is probably playing best in the nation, in my opinion. Right? After who they've beaten,
best team in the country right now. To me.
they ran LSU, and LSU is kind of Drew Barrymore of college football right now. They just forget they're 10-second Tom. But you beat a great Clemson team on the road, all right. And now you look through the ACC, your schedule, you're gonna be favored in every game for the rest of the year. So now Florida State, great win. But if you're Clemson, don't panic. I know you're probably not going to fight for a championship this year, but Kay Klubnik, you got it right. All right,
Jake, what'd you say? What was your statement, Jake? I couldn't hear you.
I think if you're going to look at just pure resume right now, I mean, it's hard not to say that Florida State doesn't have the best resume in the country. When you look at who they've played and kind of how they've won and the play calling, while the running game wasn't, huge and they weren't breaking off huge runs, they were running it enough to where Clemson still had to respect it. But I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. Clemson played a lot of man on the outside. Even Jordan Travis after the game was like, it was almost disrespectful the amount of man they were playing on Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman, and they held up. But look,
they did hold up for a while, yeah.
They held up for a long time. But if you're Clemson, now that's why that Duke loss hurt so much. It wasn't like, oh, LSU, they lost to Florida State, you're 0-1, that sucks. That was a conference loss. There are no more divisions in the ACC. So now you've lost 2 conference games, which means you lose 2 tiebreakers, which means Duke could lose 2 games. I'm not even talking about North Carolina. Duke could lose two games. Florida State could find a way to lose 2 games, and you're still not going to the ACC championship. So Clemson, I mean, it's pretty much Dunzo the Clown there. Now the question for Clemson really becomes how you finish out the year. And you go to a good bowl game, and is Dabo going to embrace the transfer portal after this year? That's the biggest question left.
That's a huge question. And can you still play spoiler down the stretch? I mean, and I know we're going to get into Notre Dame, but, you're going to get Notre Dame at home. You're going to still get some big-time games. A couple other things. I mean, Will Shipley is a great football player, and the way they used him in the pass game, I thought, to neutralize the Florida State defensive front, I thought was a smart game plan, and they executed it effectively. On the Florida State side, though, 22 yards rushing, that's not going to be good enough, balanced enough down the stretch, especially if you're talking about getting, even in the ACC championship probably, but also in the college football playoff. They got to figure out something there to be able to get Jordan Travis some help in the run game.
Yeah, the only time you'll face a front seven as good as what you just saw against Clemson is going to be in the playoff.
Yeah,
that either going to be Michigan or Georgia or one of those 4, maybe Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State's defense is as good as it showed yesterday. I think Notre Dame just didn't hit explosive plays. But Florida State, man, right now, I don't know how you don't have them at 1.
Yeah, if we're going off pure resume this year, which is the best way to do it. But all right, I'm going to get to the chat here in a second. But let's go ahead and break down this Ohio State Notre Dame game.
Oh, what a
heartbreaker! Heartbreaker, man. If you're Notre Dame, man, I'm really glad I took Notre Dame plus 3.5. That hook really worked out there at the end. But that game, guys, it went exactly about how we said it was going to go. Right? Ugly. Low scoring. Notre Dame kept everything in front. Kyle McCord didn't make the big turnover. He didn't get greedy. They hit a couple plays on crossers and in the middle of the field that were close to explosive, but you had the big run play. And outside of that, I mean, Notre Dame, it was nickel dime. You passed a few runs. They were running a lot of hitches on the interior, especially third down. They were just sitting down in those zones that was able to extend drives. Sam Hartman, I thought he was good. I didn't think he was great. You didn't hit really any balls down the field. But if you're Notre Dame, that game kind of went how you wanted it to go. You didn't want this to be a track meet back and forth. You didn't want this to be jump shot for jump shot. And then at the end, how do you call a timeout and then go out there with 10 guys and then not run the 11th guy out there? You don't get a penalty for running the 11th guy out there. You get a penalty for running the 12th guy off. So I don't know how in the hell that happens in a game like this. If I'm Marcus Freeman, I am losing my mind this morning. I'm losing my. But here's the other thing. Should have never got to that point.
Yeah,
you can't drop that interception. You had an interception hit you right in the hands, cost you the game. And look, it's typically 3 to 5 plays. But when it comes down to that last drive and Kyle McCord puts that ball right there, you've got to put the city on your back sometimes. And I feel like Notre Dame just at the end, you kind of felt it. Notre Dame was finding a way to lose, and Ohio State was finding a way to win. And I got to take my hat off to Kyle McCord. I got to take my hat off to Ryan Day on those guys in the last drive, because it wasn't like Marvin Harris and them were killing them downfield. But if you watch Crane and Company, this game pretty much played out outside of the last play where Ohio State took the lead. About exactly like we said it was going to. Man,
and it lived up to the hype. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I was watching this with a neighborhood full of Buckeye fans. The whole neighborhood was just going crazy there at the end. Kyle McCord did what he had to do for his team to win the football game. It wasn't that typical OSU quarterback performance of throwing for 375 and 5 touchdowns, because that's not what he needed to do. But he didn't turn the football over, and when he needed to make big plays late, he did that. Now on the Notre Dame side, another thing on Kyle McCord, we were wondering, okay, Notre Dame's going to they're going to mix pressures, especially on third down. What's he going to get? Well, the very first third down I was watching, they rushed 3, drop 8. Kyle McCord hit a big pass. The next couple, they brought the house. They're in cover 0, cover 1. He hits big plays over the middle of the field. It didn't matter what Notre Dame mixed up. Kyle McCord responded and made the right play. That's the thing that I was looking for, which was effective. On the Notre Dame side of the ball, one thing I thought was interesting, because here's what I said. If OSU is able to stop the run on first down and get Notre Dame into 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10, what happens then? Are they going to press? Is Sam Hartman going to throw interceptions down the field? Well, OSU was able to stop the run effectively in 11 personnel for much of the game. But whenever Notre Dame got in 21 personnel and started in the split back, that 2-back set, that's when they started being able to run the ball. So Notre Dame never quit on establishing the run. That was one of the things that I was looking for, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. But when they went down 10-0, I thought Notre Dame's not built to come back. When are we going to take shots? But then all of a sudden, they stayed committed to the run, started peppering some shots, some bigger plays down the field, and all of a sudden they find themselves up 14-10. And so I thought, okay, that narrative of not being built to come from behind is sort of, that doesn't hold as much water now, because they remain committed to the run. But if you're going to run the ball and have 7.5, 8.5-minute drives like that, you're only going to get so many possessions. And the biggest one to me, when you get the ball back, we talk about it all the time, a 4-minute drill is as important as a 2-minute drill. And for the people who don't know, a 4-minute drill is the exact opposite. It's when you have the ball and you want to milk the clock, you have a lead and you're trying to end the game. And it just so happens Notre Dame got their 4-minute drill with exactly 4 minutes left, and they couldn't drive down and put it away. They had to punt the football away, give the ball back to Kyle McCord, and that was enough. That was all she wrote.
Margin for error is so small. You miss that field goal early, you end up losing by 3.
And 2 fourth downs. The first one reversed, the second one you didn't get, plus the missed field goal. That's the game.
I don't know how they reversed that one with Sam Hartman with the ball in the right hand.
Yeah,
I felt that
was
I didn't
tough.
feel like
that was tough. That was tough.
I didn't feel like that was enough to reverse it. But this is the first thing I want to talk about in this game is this last drive. All right, this last drive. If you're Ohio State and you're Notre Dame, all right. 2nd and 10 on the 13. There's 15 seconds left. Kyle McCord gets an intentional grounding. All right. You're sitting at 3rd and 19.
Yep.
On the 22. Jake, what are you calling?
3rd and 19? I'm calling
your defense.
I'm calling 2-man. We're going to stunt the front.
Okay, it's 3rd and 19. You somehow give up a 20 after Ohio State timeout. You give up a 22-yard pass down the seam in front of the safety on the 1. Can't happen. Would never happen.
Who caught it?
How that safety let it happen? Well, I blame I blame Coach Freeman. And then you get a timeout, okay? You get a stop with 5 seconds left, 3rd and goal with 1 second. You run 10 guys out on the field. 10 guys. If this was any other coach, let this be Brian Kelly. Let this be Nick Saban. They would have murdered him. They would have been calling for it. But Marcus Freeman, right? Nothing. This is on the coach. That last drive is on a defensive coach, and it gets me to go back. Is what big game has Marcus Freeman won? I mean, haven't seen enough.
Well, I mean,
right now, the recipe that I have
that long, but
it's early. It's early.
It's inexcusable.
I know, but
it is inexcusable.
And that was Marvin Harrison Jr. that caught that ball to get the first down?
Ibuka.
Oh, it's Ibuka. There's 2 guys. I'm running 2-man, and there's 2 guys that are not catching. Because I know what you're doing. You are doing one of 2 things. you are throwing, especially if you're in 10 personnel, you're going to keep the back in there to help. You're either throwing it to Marvin Harrison Jr. or you're throwing it to Egbuka. If you want to throw it to Russell Stover in the middle of the field and get 10 yards and have 4th and 9 from the 12, then great. We'll play that game. But I'm not letting your two stallions on the outside beat me there. I'm with you. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. Just like I couldn't believe Ole Miss's defense. What Pete Golding was calling on some of the 3rd and longs. Just absolutely blew my mind. But no, I'm with you, man. I mean, at the end of the day,
a couple other takeaways I was going to say. Cade Stover was a big factor in the game too. I mean, the dude's just a legitimate tight end. You could see, like, if you're going to try and take away Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mbuka, that, you know, Cade Stover's the guy that you're looking at. Also, the Buckeyes pinning Notre Dame deep several times. Now, it just so happened that Sam Hartman was able to lead one of those drives 96 yards. But again, OSU playing the field position game, old school football. I mean, that just proves to be a winning strategy. And then another thing was Notre Dame key missed tackles. I thought that they held up strong on defense for a lot of the game, but a missed fit on that Travion Henderson run to the like 68 yards, whatever that one was, that was a misfit on the outside, can't keep contained, and then a couple missed tackles down the stretch for big first downs. All of that leads to you losing a tight ball game that's, you know, playoff implications. And Notre Dame needed this win more because they don't have the benefit of playing in a conference championship. Mm-hmm. They really needed this. Now there's no room for error as you move forward because you're going to go on the road to Clemson. You're going to get USC and the Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams at home. You need to win all of those games and then still get lucky at the end of the season with some help around the country, whereas OSU now gets Penn State at home and really is setting up for another showdown in Ann Arbor Thanksgiving week.
Yep, here we go. All right, let's get to the chat real quick, Blaine.
All right, got some donations. Let's get it to Jordan Kilgo. Will go $5 donation. Says neither Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford have progressed at all this season. It's time to put in Holden Garner and take our lumps for the year.
Well, look, you're already going to take your lumps for the year with this team. That's the reason I had that monologue this week on Auburn. But it's no excuse for how bad it was offensively, how bad the quarterbacks were. I want to say this, and I don't typically say this about guys. I was, it's one thing to go out and have a bad game, guys drop balls, make some bad throws. It's another thing to go out there and, for lack of a better term, be scared. Peyton Thorne, I know when somebody is scared at quarterback. Did Auburn's offensive line play great? They didn't play great. They didn't play terrible. And if you go back and watch the Cal game, there's a little bit that at the beginning when he just basically, water boy, hey, 62, I'm going to toss you the ball here on the first drive. He was looking for when he was going to get sacked. You don't miss throws like that at this level if something is not wrong, if you're not nervous or shook. What I don't understand is how you play at Michigan State. Because I don't think – here's the thing, Blaine. I don't think you can trust Peyton Thorne anymore. I don't think you can put it back out there. If I can't trust you to not play scared at Cal and then go to A&M – and take the snap, look up for 1 second, then look at the rush and do this, like you're getting jumped by a bunch of ninjas and miss wide open guys. Now, and just here's the thing. They're bringing pressure. Throw the check down, dog. Throw the check down. It's there the whole game. It was there the whole game. But here's the problem you have if you're Hugh Freeze now. Because it's not just about what happened. It's how you fix it. I don't think you can put Peyton Thorne back out there. Because if we can tell that he's nervous or scared, those players can see that he's scared. They know. You can't hide it from them. So do you put Robbie Ashford out there and say, listen, we need to go up tempo. We'll go fast. We'll keep trying to do the RPO thing, progress him as a passer a little bit, and just do it because that was the only way they could move the ball? Or do you put Holden Garner out there who really can't run that well and take away one dimension of one of the main effective parts of that RPO system? But I do know this. You cannot put somebody that is nervous out there. And Peyton Thorne, that whole game, missing high over the middle. I mean, there were plays where he wasn't getting pressure, and then somebody would come late, and the check down would be right there, and he wouldn't throw it. I can't trust you. It was a miss. It was a portal miss. I don't care how much you come in and talk about how much of the playbook you want to learn and how you want to be a leader and all this other stuff. Bro, you were Papa Doc from 8 Mile yesterday. You were shook. This isn't Cranbrook, man. Like, you can't trust him. Blaine, I mean, you saw it. Am I crazy?
Look, no. I said this from the day that he transferred to Auburn, all right? Peyton Thorne is not going to be the guy at Auburn. He's not. He never was. All right. It's a fallacy. It's a floozy. It's one of those Matthew McConaughey things. All right. It's never gonna work. It was never gonna work. Sure, he's a great guy. Sure, he's a great kid. He's not that good of a football player. All right. And you saw that against A&M. It's over with. It's done. Throw it out. Robbie Ashford is a slot receiver. It's what he is. He's a track guy. He's not a quarterback. All right. Your best chance at this point, you have two options. One, you call this guy sitting on the screen right here. His name's David Cone. He might have some eligibility left. All right. Or two,
I'm sure he does with the new rules.
You put Holden Garrier in the game. The two plays I got to see when I wasn't throwing up for the rest of the game because I had to watch it was the best thing I've seen the whole day. Holden Garrier is your answer from now on. You might as well take one of the dimensions out of football. It's the same damn thing you're doing with Robbie Ashford. He can't throw it. You're doing both of them with Peyton Thorne. Hell, he can barely do anything at this point. You put Holden Garrier in the game and you let him go. That's the answer. Or you turn into Georgia Tech and you just run the triple option.
Yeah.
You know, I've realized these last few years that the standard for the quarterback position at Auburn has now become Cam Newton. And so I think I'll pass on that year of eligibility. But I appreciate your faith in me. Thank you so much.
I'll take Nick Marshall right now.
You won't be scared, David. I know that.
No, I'll tell you what. I'm hitting that wheel route down the sideline.
Oh my
God. That one, I had to write that one in the little brown book, boys. I'm going to hit that wheel route. But what do you think about the Texas A&M side of this? And what about Connor Wegman? I mean, Max Johnson comes in, does his thing, hits the big post pattern for a touchdown. What's going to happen with Connor Wegman now?
Well, we got to say, I believe it's an ankle. I hated to see him go down. Look, at A&M, that just wasn't clean. The worst part for Auburn is they gave you a chance. A&M played so bad, they gave you a chance early, and you still weren't able to do anything with it. It was just an ugly performance. Max made some plays. Connor, it seemed to me, it was kind of funny. We talked about it. We felt like Auburn could slow down the run enough. The question is, would they be able to rush the passer in predictable passing downs? I thought Auburn mixed it up decently. I'm just not a fan of the three-man rush. You can't rush three and let guys scramble for first downs. Like you can't do that. I thought their exotic pressures were pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of bringing guys from depth, but it was somewhat effective. The Auburn defense played well enough to win this game. I think A&M is watching that film today, and Jimbo and them aren't happy. First off, Jimbo needs to get his ass off the field, by the way. I don't know how that's not a 15-yard penalty when you're 5 yards on the field.
Talk about the 12th man.
And talk about the 12th man. First, that's a great way to put it. But no, look, I think A&M got away with one. I still think A&M is a good football team. I don't think they're great, but if I can't remember how many procedural penalties they had during that game. I mean, there were some drives they had 3 false starts. So it was ugly, but it's a win. And in the SEC, you're going to take it. But Wegman's health is going to be important because I like Max. But when Connor's cooking, he's no Connor.
Texas A&M 7 penalties, 50 yards. Auburn 10 for 64 yards.
I think they were all procedural. I think they were all false starts on A&M.
Yeah.
All right, Blaine.
Man. Oh yeah, go ahead, Blaine.
All right, I'll give the chat.
Yeah.
To the La Flama Blanca with a $5 donation. Gentlemen, does Tennessee still deserve to be ranked? Also made Reed's recipe with the wife for my level 36 yesterday. Super hot fire. Dylon, and Dylon.
Yeah, that Supreme, that homemade Crunchwrap Supreme just hits different, man. It's like Tony Gwynn. It just hits different. Look, Tennessee, I think they're right there in the top 25. They dispatched UTSA. I thought they would. Joe Milton looks really good running for about 75, but, UTSA has really been on the struggle bus this year. They haven't won in the swamp since 2003, man. I'm not ready to discount Tennessee. But when I look at the SEC East, they get to host Georgia. I think they're one of the very few teams that actually, if they play at a very high level, can have a chance to beat Georgia with what we've seen from Georgia so far. So I would put them right around 23 to 25, but they're going to have their chances, right? You've got the whole year in front of you. But that front seven defensively, man, they let me down against Florida. For the fact that I thought they were going to be better than what they were against the run, and that Tennessee was going to be somewhat of a defensive team with an above average offense, not an elite offense with just an average defense. So they're going to get their shots. Like seeing Nico get in there yesterday and get some scratch as well. But I'd put them right around 23 to 25.
And you're going to host Texas A&M. You're going to host
South Carolina next week, right?
South Carolina next week. You host them. You host Texas A&M at Bama, at Kentucky, at Missouri. And Missouri, the way they're playing, man, they're undefeated. Talking about Missouri moving forward, they're going to get Vanderbilt next week. That could be a 5-0 start before they play LSU. I don't know. It's starting to be an interesting shape up here. I mean, speaking about LSU, Arkansas gave them everything they could handle, man.
No, without a doubt. That was one of the best games on the day. I was shocked at LSU even without Rocket Sanders, and the Dominion kid we know can tote the rock. Now he's not Rocket, but he's kind of a diet Rocket Sanders, if you know it. But I was just shocked at the lack of pass rush that LSU was able to get in big moments, right? It's one thing to be able to have get a couple good pass rushes and get a couple sacks, early in the game, maybe like right before halftime. But it seemed like every time Arkansas needed a big play, even when they would make a big play and get a penalty, that offensive line was able to hold up against LSU. And look, this game is always close. I probably should have took Arkansas plus 17.5.
Yeah,
because Arkansas
just a
really
lot
gets
of
up
points,
for this
man.
one. But LSU struggled a little bit early, right? Jane Daniels threw that pick, didn't see that corner squatting there on cover 2. But these are the games you have to win. These are the games that you have to survive, and you're going to get everybody's best shot. And we all know that it looks right now, at least, after everything that's been displayed, this is setting up for LSU at Bama.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see how Bama does at A&M, and we'll get into that in a second. But that's where it looks like it's setting up to. But I tell you what, Arkansas went in there and fought.
Yep.
Sam Pittman's guys are always going to fight hard. KJ Jefferson, I kind of got asked on the space on Twitter this week, was KJ Jefferson playing like a top 3 quarterback in the SEC right now? And I said no, because I hadn't seen that step up from, you remember how much he stepped up last year as a passer from where he was the year before? He made one of the biggest leaps. I was expecting to see that this year. Hadn't seen it yet. Man, he made some throws last night, including one on 3rd and 8, rolling to his right on the corner. That was just an absolute dip and dot.
And he played within himself and took what the defense gave, I thought, from almost all of that game. Now, everybody's going to talk about the penalties, 14 penalties, something like that. Most Arkansas has had since 2011. Obviously, it's hard to win any football game, even if you're at home with that many. But I thought Arkansas played with pride, played with confidence. They fought hard in the toughest environment to go on the road to in college football at night. And then on the LSU side, while it wasn't pretty, like you sat there and you took punch after punch and responded, and you won a tough football game in the SEC. Move along, see who's next.
Malik Neighbors, freak.
Lamborghini, baby.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's go to Anthony Long with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Ant. So is Auburn becoming synonymous with inept QB play?
Look, again, Auburn has their quarterback. His name's Walker White, and he's coming in next year. Number one, with that name, I already know you're good. I don't even need to see the tape. But it's like I said, this will be the worst. And Auburn shouldn't have played that bad on offense. These quarterbacks shouldn't be that bad. And they missed in the portal with Peyton Thorne. Let's be honest. Auburn missed with Peyton Thorne. I don't think you can put him back in there. I really don't. Because scared money don't make no money. Like, I don't care what you say in meetings and all this other stuff, and you're helping old ladies cross the street. How about you sit your ass in there and go through your reads and then throw the check down? How about that? I'd rather have that. But I think Auburn hadn't had a 100-yard passer the last 5 Power 5 games they played in. But here's where people make their mistake. They say, oh, well, this offense doesn't look any better. The quarterback doesn't look any better than what he was last year. Well, the difference in last year was you had a guy that was in year 3. You had a guy that had coached had time to put it together. This is year 1. This is a bridge year, right? Could he have got a better quarterback out of the portal? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Did they miss on Peyton Thorne? Yeah. Is Robbie Ashford a great quarterback? No. Holden Garner, we'll see. If you give him a chance, but here's the problem. You want to give him a chance? Okay, well, here comes Georgia. Here's your chance against Georgia. All right, you've never driven before? Here, hop in this race car.
That fight or flight will kick in. Who knows?
One of the things.
I mean,
One of the things that has to be tough for Auburn fans, I was thinking about this yesterday, is watching one of your legacy sons balling at Oregon right now. I mean, Bo Nix. I mean, that's the Auburn guy. And I mean, like talking about Oregon, like I think they're one of the most balanced teams in the country, and showed up with a thorough thrashing like we thought against Colorado.
It doesn't hurt me to see Bo at Oregon.
You're happy for him.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt me.
No, I mean, look, Auburn fans.
What we gave him, he went from cafeteria.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go do a chops on Saturday.
No, I'm not saying Auburn fans aren't happy for him, but I just it has to hurt watching him be over there doing what he's doing, knowing what he could do in a Hugh Freeze offense.
I'd rather see that than come over here and waste his talents.
I mean,
Fair enough.
But I do say I thought Auburn's offensive line in pass pro they weren't great, but Auburn was able to run the ball somewhat effectively.
Good
man.
bag.
The guys on the outside. I mean, dude, somebody go. I got to give Robbie Asher credit on one deep ball. You got to go get it. Somebody's got to get up there and go get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody's got to go get the money on the outside. Not only that, they're not blocking. It's just this is as bad as Auburn will be. And to the people that are panicking and are like, oh my, they're panicking Skywalker right now. You need to stop. You can be upset. But the overreaction is crazy. We tried to tell y'all this is what's going to happen. Didn't know it was going to be that bad on offense, but you got to find a way to fix something. I thought the defense played about as good as they possibly could play.
You can only hold up so long.
Eugene Asante, goodness gracious. I mean, this man's out here just making a ton of money. But yeah, it's bad. I just don't think you can put Peyton Thorne back out there. I don't think you can.
All right, let's go to Tyler Jarvis with the $5 donation. Tyler, appreciate it, buddy. He says, good morning, boys. Good morning to you, sir. What's the only thing better than waking up to Crane & Co.? Waking up 4-0, baby. Let's go, Canes. All about the U. Miami might not get talked about enough.
That's how they want it, though. Mario does. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody shut up.
Everyone watch Clemson, Florida State.
Yeah. Keep talking about Florida State. Oh,
and Duke's really great,
Yeah, Duke's so good. Man, Georgia Tech's really, really punching above their weight, aren't they?
Drake
May. That was
May.
a nice win for them yesterday, but I just want to see Lou Holtz fight Ryan Day. I just keep thinking about that.
No, I'm telling you right now, if you listen to the show, you obviously know Jake has a good Lou Holtz impression. All right. Would it not be funny?
Don't give it away. Don't give it away because I want to do it this week.
Okay.
I want to do it this week. Can you imagine though? Like, can you imagine if they just had Lou Holtz right there after Ryan Day would have said that? I want to hear Lou Holtz trash talk Ryan Day because it'd be the funniest thing ever. It'd be the funniest thing ever. They'd be like, Coach Holtz, like, do you see what Ryan Day's like? Let me tell you guys something. I'll kick Ryan Day's ass today, tomorrow, the next day, the way I used to kick Mark May's ass on the college football game day. You come here disrespect us, Jesus. Ohio gets the world. Have you been studying Catholic? Dude, I would. Oh my god.
What is Ryan? I know emotions are high after a game like that, but what's Ryan Day doing at the end of that game?
No, he's trying to fight old.
What did Lou? First of all, I didn't even see what did Lou say about him.
So I watched it last night. Did you see it, Jake? Did you see it too?
Go ahead.
Well,
yeah, I read the quote.
He basically said, "Look, Notre Dame's going to win this game because we play a more physical brand of football. Sam Hartman's one of the best quarterbacks, and we're gonna run all over them, and basically saying we're more physical than them."
Just let him go out in peace, man. It's like, come on, dude. There's always that one old guy wherever you are, whether it's the barbershop or the 3-in-1 meat place you eat on Sunday mornings. There's always that one old guy who just says stuff that you're surprised he made it here with all his clothes on.
The meat three plate.
Like,
you're hungry already, aren't you?
Dude, like let the old guy quit trying to fight Lou Holtz.
Right there's like, I'll tell you what, this team's tough. And Lou Holtz, anywhere, anytime, name the place.
It's like,
Can you imagine Lou Holtz and Ryan Day in Power Slap?
There's an idea.
He'd knock Lou Holtz's head off. Little Lou be like, see you later, stinky.
Right in front of football Jesus.
All right, let's peruse. Let's peruse through a couple other of these.
I got to get y'all's thoughts on the on Oregon, Colorado.
Oh yeah. Knew it. Wow, I'm shocked.
You see what Sports Illustrated tweeted?
Oh yeah, man, Greg.
The college
Jennings.
football world is shocked of Oregon's dismantling of Colorado.
And listen, It's like I said, Colorado, you've already won. Like it's
You
what
have
Deion's done has been. I'm not a hater of Deion. I've
house
complimented
money,
him a ton
baby.
of times, right? But all these people acting like Colorado's about to go out here and win the Pac-12. It's like I said, it's one thing to be the hunter and you're out there, killing antelopes and you're killing, chipmunks, and then you try and take a bow and arrow and shoot a rhinoceros.
Yeah. See,
Yeah, this is what it is, right? This is what it is. I knew when I saw Dan Lanning's pregame speech, I took him at minus 19.5. I should have bought it up 2 touchdowns. I knew when I heard him say that what was going to happen, because here's the problem for Colorado. This is the first team you played that didn't have to, that could get there truly with 4 and get Shedeur on the ground. Not make him scramble and make 2 guys miss and find somebody, but actually keep him in the pocket and sack him. So you didn't have to bring extra pressure. Now, when they did it work, the second thing, this is a team that could actually tackle in space. Now, Nebraska could tackle in space. I thought they tackled in space pretty well for the most part, but they were inept on offense. Oregon could hurt you every single time they got the ball and you had the ball. They were better than you up front. And what was crazy was it wasn't just like Oregon was just pounding it on the ground the whole game and just pulverize them. A lot of it was quick screens outside. Bubble screens, then run game, and then Bo would take shots. This was thorough domination by a much better team. You got to see what happened when you played a team that was legitimately good and balanced on both sides of the ball and was better than you. And this is the worst Colorado's going to be. Just like I said, this is the worst Auburn's going to be. You're going to have to take your lumps. You've already won. But this is why fanalists is what I call them. people who aren't really analysts of the game. They're just fans, take hype narratives and go just run into the wilderness with them. It's fanaticism. That's what I'm going to call it.
And Oregon still took the gas pedal off. Bo Nix didn't play in the fourth, and I know because I had the Oregon TTP over 45.5, which somehow didn't hit. But, I mean, that's one of the most balanced teams in the country, guys. Oregon's a serious football team. So if you're Colorado, you're already playing with house money, and look, everything's about building to next year. I would look across at that Oregon team as a team to aspire to, because Dan Lanning only in year 2 already has them more balanced on both sides of the football. The defense is legitimate, but even on the offensive side, running the ball well. Like you said, the quick game is working well. Bo Nix is the guy at quarterback. I think Oregon has everything out in front of them. Now, the problem is, and we've been talking about it, is guys, I cannot believe how good the Pac-12 is. Watching that Washington State Oregon State game yesterday, it's just unbelievable. My takeaway for the whole game was just Cam Ward. That's just how good. I mean, 400 yards to the air, 4 TDs. So which one of these teams is going to be playing spoiler to all the others? And Colorado could still do that. If they don't let this shake their confidence, they could play spoiler down the stretch. Oregon State's going to beat people. Washington State's going to beat people. I mean, Washington, Michael Penix Jr. out there. We haven't even talked about the Heisman Trophy winner and Caleb Williams. So the Pac-12 is just unbelievable right now.
But
go ahead, Mike.
I do feel like Oregon right now, if you had to pick a team in the Pac-12,
I agree.
That's most well put together. I would say the Oregon Ducks. And
I don't disagree with you, but we hadn't even seen Cam Rising play at Utah yet. That's the thing.
And Utah is one of those teams, and we say it all the time, great teams can do win in multiple ways. And if you watch at UCLA, the defense won that football game.
Yeah.
Which is great if you're
Big Utah. 6 early was the difference.
Yeah. Dante Moore looked like I thought Kyle McCord may look a little bit early. That was it's the young guy. That's what we talked about all week. Young guy going into a tough environment. But here's the problem. If you're the Pac-12, are you about to cannibalize yourself out of the playoff? If any conference is going to cannibalize themselves out of the playoff, it's the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, that's just football, man. That's football.
It is, but welcome to what the SEC's been dealing with.
Yeah.
That's why it's so impressive what Georgia's been able to do and what Alabama's been able to do here recently. So it's just nuts. By the way, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Keep commenting and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER, because new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on NFL football. That's only on DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. The crown is yours. They have great deals, even if you're not a new customer. I'm telling you, you end up winning $500 yesterday. If Minnesota wouldn't have lost that game, that cost me about $2,000. I had a 17-leg parlay, would have been the highest one I've ever hit.
I don't want to talk about it.
Minnesota was up 31-10 against Northwestern. EJ Fleck rode the boat right off a waterfall.
Notre Dame, thank you so much.
Cost me a 9-legger. I had LSU check, Bama check, North Carolina check, Penn State, Oregon, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Washington. Only Minnesota. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear from Minnesota.
I thought maybe that cult that y'all are cultivating over there would eventually that would help or work. You let Northwestern score on the tight end delay, the first play in overtime. It's the oldest trick in the book, dog. Here, why don't you row the boat just to Average Town where you guys live forever, and it's freezing up there.
Hey, I was going to ask you guys.
I told Reed, David, we're never going to Minnesota. If we have to get on a plane and fly somewhere and it flies over Minnesota, I'm not going. It's
fair
to
enough.
That level. 17-legger, $1,400. PJ, Sorry.
I was going to ask what happened in the Texas Tech game? I was flipping back and forth, but I couldn't catch a lot of it. I mean, they're 1-3 now.
That's going to be one of my where I was wrongs tomorrow.
For tomorrow, okay. Well, you can save it then. I didn't catch a lot of it.
West Virginia played with their backup quarterback.
I thought their starter played.
No.
I didn't get to watch many of this game
what's his name? Manat, whatever. It starts with the M. It's like M-O something. He was in there. Had a chance at the end. But unlike Northwestern and Ben, close my eyes and throw a crosser at the end, Brian. I'm trying not to get upset. My animals were worried yesterday after Minnesota lost. When they can tell a storm's coming, they were afraid they wouldn't look me in the eyes when we went to bed last night.
Let's go to Cleveland Rocks with the $5 donation. Not a lot of people said that. Let's go to Notre Dame was on the same time K-State was playing. What are your thoughts on K-State as they lost one game on a record SEC field goal? Can they beat Texas? Great cover.
Great cover. Guess what? I locked this one in at 6.5 early in the week at -110 and had to stick with it. And it went all the way down to 4.
I got it at 5. Yeah.
I got it. 4.
And then they just murdered them in the fourth quarter. Will Howard.
They're a good football team, man.
Big Siberian cave troll just toting the mail down there. Look, Kansas State's a good team, right? They're a good team. The Senate kid, it's a great story. He's a fullback out there making plays. I feel like I'm watching one of those Disney movies about Against All Odds or whatever. But I don't think Kansas State's a championship team. I don't think they're explosive enough to win the Big 12. I think they're a good team, right? They are what Kleiman wants them to be. They're physical. They're downhill, play action. Quarterback can run. Just Will Howard just already looks beat up to me, number one. And number two, I just don't think they're explosive enough. And they're not as lethal on defense. I'm losing that defensive end that's playing for the Chiefs right now. Umezi, whoever, the first rounder they lost, that dude can play now.
Oh, yeah.
Not that they're bad on defense, but Kansas State's going to be a top shelf, all right, tequila, all right, but they're not going to be the tippy top. They're not going to be the dap.
All right, let's go to Roger Rocks 228 with a $5 donation. He says, not sure if y'all talk eliminator pools. Metrics are screaming Baltimore, but injuries are hurting them. A difficult click. I like Jacksonville, but owns 20% is predicted -20. Thoughts, Jake? You're an eliminator pool.
Yeah, what are you going with this week, Jay?
I'm going with the Seahawks, man. Just Andy Dalton, please don't. Just Andy Dalton starting for the Panthers.
Oh, he will.
Seahawks at home, coming off. Look, Pete Carroll, they're 1-1. Okay, got to get to 2-1. I went Ravens for first game, hit that. I went Bucks, second game, hit that. I'm going Seahawks. I'm trying to stay away from the big dogs. Let's get to week 4. Got to keep it warm.
Nice and steady.
Let's go to CG87343 with the $5 donation. As of now, what team in the top 25 is overrated and one that is underrated.
For the entire country? Was that what it was, Blaine?
Top 25.
Oh, top 25.
I'm gonna say overrated. Give me look. I'm gonna say this, okay, and some people are gonna be like, "What? What?" I don't trust Washington's defense.
Really?
I don't trust. It's USC to me. It's USC to me. I don't trust Washington's defense. I've watched Cal's offense. I've watched it. The fact they were put up a 30-piece, not that Washington's not going to win a lot of games. If Washington wants to win a national championship, that's the standard. So if we're talking about teams that can win a national championship, I love what Washington is on offense. I think that defense, I'm a little skeptical hippo. And then Ole Miss, after what I saw yesterday, we talked about Alabama and Ole Miss. I mean, Alabama, I thought played well. Like the defense played well. Milroe still made a couple mistakes that he cannot make in some of these games down the stretch. But Ole Miss up front, man, I just I don't know. I expected. I knew Tulane kind of punked them a little bit. Just offensively, they weren't really able to get the run game going with Judkins. He had a few that he broke some tackles in the backfield. Jackson Dart, really outside of that touchdown run where Alabama got in 2-man and didn't stunt the front, and there was nobody in the middle, and he just took off and ran for a touchdown. I just think Ole Miss is an above average team, not championship worthy team. And man, I mean, Saban just owns Lane Kiffin. And look, that Lane Kiffin Twitter stuff doesn't really look good after they lose. Like he was right on Twitter saying stuff after you lose. Like, man, like, dude, you're 1-20 now. Wait, but what was it,
I saw him at SEC Media Days. What was it, Blaine?
He was 1-19 against Power 5 teams who have 9 or more wins.
All right, now Alabama hadn't won
Now
9
he's
or more
1-20.
games yet, but you would think they would get to 9. So you're probably going to be 1-20. I mean, at some point, you got to stop being a stand-up comedian and you got to win some big games, man.
I agree with you on the Ole Miss one. Washington, I still think Washington's really good, but yeah, they're not balanced. It's mostly offense. For me,
that's what I'm saying.
For me, it'd be Iowa. I mean, we're talking about top 25 teams, right? I think Iowa's overrated there. I think Colorado, after yesterday's performance, you'd have to put in there. And then as far as underrated, I think Miami all the way down at 20 is underrated. We got to put them up a little higher. And then I still think, look, Oklahoma's been at 16, man. Oklahoma's just sneaking around back there at 16.
Right? And I watched that full game against Cincinnati. First of all, Emory Jones is Emory Jones. I didn't know he was still in college football. Was he 40?
Yeah, year 12.
Oklahoma's defense played well and only gave up 6 points. They've gotten better, but I still don't think they're that good. I still don't think they're that good. Once they play somebody who can actually somewhat formally run the football, I think Oklahoma's defense, like they play Texas. Texas is going to drop 40 on them.
They did last year.
Yeah, Texas is going to drop 40 on a lot of people.
You're going to drop, and I would have to go through Oklahoma's schedule because they only had them losing 1 game this year.
The question is, how far does Notre Dame fall? Because Notre Dame here, I mean, you lose the game by an inch. That call could go either way with a forearm there. I mean, it was a touchdown, but based off that 1 inch, you're either putting Notre Dame in the top 5 or down. I don't think they move a whole lot.
I think you drop them a couple spots.
In my opinion, they're in front of Bama.
Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I agree with that completely.
Because LSU, you lost to, in my opinion, probably the number 1 team in the nation. And Alabama, you lost to Texas. So I would put them there. I think North Carolina might be a little bit underrated.
Had them going 10-2.
What's always been the question for North Carolina has been their defense, right? Their defense is playing better. Good win against Pitt.
I still don't trust it. I think they're a little bit almost like Washington, but they're kind of like
Drake they're as bad as
they're the East Coast. They're the East Coast Washington.
Yeah, but I mean, I would take. I mean, after watching Washington's defense, I may take North Carolina's defense over Washington's.
I would take North Carolina.
If they played next week, I'd take Washington.
Yeah, I'd take that over.
So you have Syracuse. I mean, you have Miami. You have Duke at home and you have Clemson. You have no Florida State on that schedule if you're North Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why those 2 losses now for Clemson. I mean,
it's over.
Yeah, it's a wrap in the ACC. David, Michigan, not David, Michigan, but hey, David, Michigan.
I just texted
Rutgers, great cover.
Hey, no, great under, guys.
Michigan hasn't covered once. I don't know who out there is still
I
thinking
literally
Michigan's.
think we said last week this game was going to be 31-7. I
Yeah,
swear I
that's-
want to go back and look at the tape. I swear we said that. Like exactly.
You know what's funny is I
Deja vu hit me when I
told
the
you guys
score at the
last
bottom.
week. I'm like, I don't know. Something smells funny. Jim Harbaugh coming back. Could that serve as the distraction? Rutgers undefeated. Greg Schiano coached in the NFL. He's got a good football team. And Blaine was like, yeah, congratulations. At the end of the game, it'll be 31-7.
That's
You know, I said, I
exactly
don't know.
what
Hey,
was said.
and then what happens early? Michigan gives up a 69-yard touchdown pass on the second play of the game. And then what happens? 3 and out on offense. And then what happens? Delay a game penalty on a field goal that we make, moves them back 5 yards, miss the field goal. I said, here we go. And then, yeah, the rest of the game was pretty good.
Hey, you know what though? When I saw the clip, they're like, "Hey, Michigan scored." I was like, "Oh, Blake Corum probably ran for 6 yards." Then I watched him run like a flea flicker throwback. I'm like, "This man."
And I'm out here. I'm like, man, we
this
need
man
trick
being
plays.
tighter.
We need trick plays against Rutgers. Can we run the football down their throat?
Y'all
But
see
look,
McAfee picked Rutgers to win that game, right?
great. I love it. Come watch
Yeah.
Training Company.
He picked.
No
I was
way.
like, dog.
Rutgers.
Like, there's no way.
I think Rutgers
My
going to
daughter
beat some
goes to
people this year, though.
Rutgers.
Guaranteed.
It's a Greg Schiano coach football team. I can't believe they scored 7. That receiver couldn't
Yeah,
believe
I'm
it.
with that. I'm
That
shocked
receiver,
they
he
scored
caught that
7.
slant and couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't know what to do. Like the defense couldn't believe it. They were like, "So what do we do now?"
Yeah.
No, but
Michigan's good though.
want to give a shout out to Utah too. Without Cam Rising, you're 4-0. Yeah, I mean, look, at some
Not winning
point,
there, man.
this dude's gotta right.
He's got to play football at some point,
He's gotta
right?
play football at some point.
Because I'll tell you, they're not
Look,
they're
hold him
not
out as long
gonna
as you
they're
can.
not gonna win the conference 3 years in a row if he doesn't
No.
play football. I'm watching
No.
Nate
The Nate
Johnson out
Johnson
there.
kid.
Like, congratulations on being 4-0, but you're not getting through the meat of that schedule.
Yeah, but I mean, it could not have worked out any better for Utah without Cam Rising with what they have coming up. I need to look at their schedule, see who they've got next. But eventually, you're going to hit that 3, 4, 5 week skid where you're going to need Cam Rising.
It's coming. It's coming. I just wish the Pac-12 would just play good defense, right, Jay?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh God. Oh God. I literally on Twitter X or
Ooh.
whatever, like quote tweeted Greg Jennings, basically just like, listen, it's like we said in the show. If you don't watch college football and they tell you, they're like, hey, we want you to opine on this before you come back from a commercial break, like during the break, just say, I don't watch it enough to be able to make a good argument. Like, you go back and see what Greg Jennings said. Like, it's not just that, okay, you can believe in Colorado. That's fine. That's fine. But then don't talk about TCU having an elite defense.
Mm-hmm. Sister Rig said Cam put pads on for warm-ups yesterday and then came out in street clothes. That was another thing that surprised me. He was over there not even in his pads during the game.
You don't have to play him next week. I don't give a hell.
Who is it next week?
Yeah, y'all got Oregon State on the road next week.
Utah goes to Oregon State next week?
Yeah.
Let's go. Separation Saturday again. Part 2.
Look, who left the fridge open? All right, let's get back to the chat real quick.
All right, let's go to Joseph Lavelle with the $2 donation. Notre Dame, what happened?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, you went out there with 10, but you dropped the pick. Look, I just keep going back to that game went exactly how Notre Dame needed it to go. Like
And
pace-wise, structurally-wise, and at the end, you literally just, no.
The one thing you brought Sam Hartman in, and you didn't take any shots down the field. In the first
No
half.
shots. No, barely in the second too. I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, you're finally running the ball well in this 21 personnel. Let's set that up. Let's get a shot set up. At least if for nothing more, just throw it over everyone's head for an incompletion, just to tell them I'm gonna do it, and then let's open up the run game even more.
Yeah.
It's a Nickelback song. It's how you remind me.
If I
but hey, if Notre Dame
Spacey one more time, I was gonna throw up.
Notre Dame, if they win out though, they'd have wins. Like I said, wins over USC, a win over Clemson, and your only loss is on the 1-inch line against a Buckeyes team who could be a 10-win team.
Here's the problem, though, David. If they went out, and this is the problem with not being in a conference and not playing a conference championship game. If they went out and they go 11-1, and Ohio State just loses to Michigan and goes 11-1, you're not getting in.
Yep.
Like, that's why not playing in a conference hurts you. One of the reasons.
And the irony of it is that if that happens, because that's what we saw last year, the Buckeyes would also not be playing in a conference championship game. They would just get they would get the automatic bid for being in the Big Ten, but they beat you in the head-to-head.
But if you do win out, all right, if you do win out, this is a good enough loss that you can get in the playoff.
That's what I'm saying.
100%, right?
Oh yeah.
Like if you'd have lost, like if Ohio State wins out, but if you'd have won this game and then went and lost to Clemson, then it's like your losses against who tells a lot sort of whether or not you're going to get in. But you lose against Ohio State, who's probably only going to lose to Michigan if they lose a game. So.
Well, see, I disagree with that because if Clemson, it depends on what Clemson does. Because if Clemson ends up going 10-2, and you beat Ohio State at home, you go to Clemson to play that game. I think a loss on the road at a 10-2 Clemson, who's probably going to be ranked around 15, somewhere around there, is actually, with that win over Ohio State, is actually more helpful than the inverse of that.
That's where you have to. That's where how you lost comes into play too. I mean, it really does matter. If Notre Dame loses yesterday by 3 scores, we're not having the same conversation as them losing by 1 inch on the last play.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Let's get to Coffee Guy with a $2 donation. He says OU's defense is legit.
I mean, I've watched them 3 times. I watched them last year. Last year, they did not have the personnel. They were giving up more explosive plays than just about anybody in the country because if you broke through the first 2 lines of that defense, they didn't, as crazy as it sounds at Oklahoma, they didn't have the guys to be able to chase you down. Oklahoma now they have good enough players. They have athletic enough players. They have fast enough players. And it's not just athletic enough or fast enough to make big plays for the defense. It's that now that 80-yard play is a 30-yard play. Yeah. Now that 30-yard play is a 12-yard play. So it's people get caught up in this defense, they got this many interceptions. And that's great that, this many sacks. How are you limiting explosive plays, right? Because a lot of teams cannot go 9, 10, 11, 12 plays down the field consistently and score. What's one of Auburn's biggest problems? No explosive plays. Auburn couldn't hit an explosive play if they fell into an ammo dump right now. So, teams can't go 9, 10, 11, 12 plays consistently. It's taking those 70-yard plays. Oh, you got beat. Let's tackle them. It's a 35-yard gain. Then all of a sudden you stop them because the more opportunities you give the offense to screw it up, gravity says eventually they will screw it up.
And remember this for Oklahoma, even last year in Brent Venables' first year, 5 of those losses were by single digits, 1-possession games, and 5 of those losses. In the 2 games where they really got dog walked, Dylan Gabriel was hurt. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind too moving forward this season.
All right, let's go to Evan McCarville with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, Evan. He says, I need some fantasy advice, fellas. Is it Joe Mixon, Sanders, or Madison for this weekend?
Sanders. So what Sanders? Why am I drawing a blank here?
Miles Sanders?
Miles.
Or Madison for the Vikings?
Yeah, so it's the Vikings.
What do you think, Blaine?
I'm looking at matchups right now. I'm pretty sure Mixon, the Bengals have the Rams on a Monday.
I'm playing against Madison this week.
Sanders is for the Patriots for the Panthers with Andy Dalton, and they're
up at the Seahawks.
They're at the Seahawks. Madison's playing the Chargers.
I like Madison. I kind
of do too.
Who are the Vikings playing?
They're playing the Chargers.
The Chargers
at home.
You would like Matt. Like the Chargers can't stop the run.
Yeah,
but the Vikings have to run it. That's the thing. Like the Vikings have to run the ball. The Vikings don't do that a lot. Let's go to Nathan Johnson with a $5 donation. Nathan, thank you, sir. College football had the expanded playoff this year. The Pac-12 would have at least 4 teams in the playoff.
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I would say right now the Pac-12 would, for lack of a better phrase, be leading the pack when it comes to teams that could get in there. You know what's kind of crazy? I'm looking at the Big 12 outside of Texas and possibly Oklahoma. It's really nobody. I mean, Kansas State, like I said, they're a good football team. I don't think they're an elite football team. The Big 12 seems to be kind of
Oklahoma State, boys. It's ugly over there. They're playing for bedlam right now. Like you need a signature win like that against Oklahoma or something like that.
It's bad. It's bad.
I'm trying to
Giving
see
up that
when they
many
get
points to Iowa State. It's bad.
when they get Texas.
They get. Do they play Texas?
Man, they don't have Texas, so you're playing for that Bedlam game to me.
Yeah, it's
Maybe you
bad,
can mess
man.
around and beat Kansas State, but it's ugly.
It's a bad situation over there. All right, Blaine, let's roll through them.
It's Tyler Jarvis with a $5 donation. T-Jar, appreciate it, brother. He says, no. Miami is exactly where we need to be. Nothing to see here. Everyone go look at Duke.
Yeah, move along. All-American reject.
Things.
Just move along.
Let's go to Ryan Gade with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother. I was drenched in cold in Morgantown yesterday, so beating Tech felt extra good. And even with the weather, that stadium was still a rock. And, they're burning couches up there, brother.
Man, I think Neil Brown's safe. And I'm glad. I like Neil a lot. I think he's a good football coach. And West Virginia, man, I've always kind of low-key liked West Virginia. I don't know.
I do too. One of the best home field
Austin,
advantages in college football.
Yeah, so happy for Neil. That's a big one for them. And for Coach McGuire and Tech, man, it's been a huge letdown. It really has been a letdown year so far.
Let's go to Brett Stevens with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, Brett. He says, were you guys impressed with Texas beat the brakes off base?
Yeah, I thought they really showed up for this one. Especially the way they played against Wyoming last week, coming off the big win against Bama. They look in sync. They look in flow. You look healthy. Texas is right on schedule right now. I've got them going undefeated in the regular season, winning the Big 12 championship. And I tell you, it's the way it's looking to me right now. And we know Texas has lost games they shouldn't have in the past. Man, it's looking like Texas and that Red River shootout. That's what it's looking like, the top of the top.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Troy Jacobs, $2 donation. He says, Sean K, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in your Beavs, man. That
tough one, but
really
look, I mean,
apart.
Pullman. Got to give David Pollock credit. If Notre Dame would have won, he'd have been perfect in his picks. Again, playing up there in Pullman, it's really tough. Just ask Wisconsin, who got the brakes beat off them up there. I mean, do we start talking about Cam Ward in the Heisman race now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're 3 weeks. I think we're still 3 weeks away from having legitimate conversations, because my thing is you need at least 4 weeks of conference play. Yeah. So that gets you to like week 7. Because remember, Matt Corral was leading the Heisman race at one point the year Bryce won and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the way that he's playing right now is like he's like must-watch television.
He really is. That was a hell of a game too, man. God, that was a hell of a game.
All right, boys, that's all I don't know is, do you want to get to any NFL games here?
Yeah, let's run through these NFL games real quick. Remember, go ahead and hit that subscribe button too. If you haven't, hit that like button. I know the chat's buzzing. We really appreciate it, guys.
Can I throw a fantasy question at y'all real quick?
Yes.
Okay, I need help. All right, I have Saquon Barkley, and obviously he isn't playing. All right, I have Deebo Samuel, got me 25, which is big. Okay, I need a number 2 running back. All right, right now, okay, I have Craig Reynolds for the Lions. David Montgomery's out. He's rejected 9 points. All right, but I also have Amon St. Brown, who's a receiver for the Lions. Okay, and I'm in the predicament right now of my quarterbacks being Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, or Geno Smith. So there's no way in hell I can play 3 players for the Lions.
Who's your other running back option?
I either have Devontae A-Chain or Kendre Miller from the Saints.
Who are the quarterback options again?
Deshaun Watson. They're playing against Tennessee, and Tennessee's got a good fight.
Yeah, no.
I just cut Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I'd play Geno Smith at quarterback, Blaine, and then I'd play Kendre Miller because Jamal Williams is hurt. Like in there, like that. To me, that's your best play.
Yeah, that's a good combination.
It's your only play, really, to me.
Okay. But it's Geno and them are playing Carolina, man. Their secondary's for real.
Yeah, but I mean, again, their wide receivers are for real. And they're at home.
Well, if you're going to play the Saints running back, then play Jared Goff. I mean, you could double up on the Amon-Ra St. Brown connection.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
They're at home against the Falcons.
Yeah, and usually points. And I know the Falcons right now, people are really high on the Falcons, but I don't think the Falcons played anybody.
No, they haven't. I don't believe
this will be a good one. This will be a good one.
Okay.
And the Lions, just Lions trying to bounce back. All right, so let's get into these games real quick. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. But Titans at Browns in a game that's so ugly, if it was your child, you probably wouldn't claim it.
Give me the Titans, hometown team, man. I'm off the Browns train. Deshaun Watson just hasn't turned that corner, and now Nick Chubb's out too. I'm not a believer.
Blaine?
I like the Titans in this game. Close. The Titans are a dog in this game. I'm pretty sure.
3.5.
I do like no Nick Chubb. I don't think the Browns get better without Nick Chubb.
I think this game is a 17-10 Browns win, 17-13 Browns win. I love the under in this game at 38. I just don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. Last week, the Chargers kind of kept the Titans in that game a little bit. I just don't believe in Tannehill. I don't think Deshaun Watson's that great, but they're at home. I'm going to lean toward the home team. Give me 17-13 Browns. All right, Falcons, Lions. Lions, 3.5-point favorite at home. The over-under is 47. I'm going to buy this one down to 2.5, boys. Give me the Lions, 31. Falcons, 21.
Big shout out to the NFC South, man. We thought it could be the worst division in football. They have, 3 undefeated teams right now? But, hey, every story has an ending, and sometimes it's not a good ending. Go ahead and give me the Lions in that one.
Yeah, I like the Lions, too. Still don't believe in Desmond Ridder that much, although he is improving. Bijan, if you drafted Bijan, congratulations.
Bijan.
Yeah, he's not. Got to keep him healthy. All right, Saints at Packers. Packers, 1-point favorite at home. Saints, it was ugly on Monday night against Carolina. The over-under is 41.5. That Saints defense, boys, they're marching in, and they're 13 flavors of pissed. Give me the Saints on the road. Jordan Love finally has that game where he has a couple turnovers. I like the Saints in this one. Give me 24-23 Saints.
Man, the Saints have just been finding a way to win scrappy football games. I like it, but I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. I like Jordan Love, man. He's really coming along. He looks confident in the pocket. Yeah, no, it is coming. Look, he's not going to play perfect football for the rest of his life, but give me the Packers at home.
I like the Saints in this game. I think the Saints have a better roster. I think Derek Carr plays better. I think Chris Olave is one of the best in the business.
Smooth.
Michael Thomas starting to become into his own a little bit, running a little bit more in the slant route tree. And I think Love's going to be under some pressure today. And that pressure either makes diamonds, but I think it's going to make Love make mistakes. So give me the Saints, 21-17.
All right, Broncos at the Dolphins. The Broncos have been monsters in the first half and absolute hot dog water in the second. The Dolphins are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 47.5. Guys, I just don't believe in Denver compared to what you see this Miami team's able to do. I mean, they're in sync. It's basically a boy band over there right now. Is the defense great? No, but I don't trust the Broncos in a 4-quarter game to be able to put up enough points. I like the Dolphins in this one to cover. I like it. Give me 27-14 Dolphins.
See over.
I love this
game.
Say it again.
The over under in this game.
47.5.
47.5. Man, I just love this Dolphins offense, and we finally seen Tua be able to stay healthy for a couple of weeks in a row. I really want to see that throughout the season. The way they're using Tyreek Hill in motion, I think you're going to start to see more and more NFL teams do this. It's a lot of fun. Denver 0-2, man, not a great start to the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson era there, but give me the Dolphins in this one. Let's see if Denver figures it out throughout the season, though.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins in this, and people remember the offense is flashy and it's great to watch, but this Dolphins defense, all right?
Oh, yeah.
They can start coming along. They got
What's going to come down to?
And you got to remember this one guy ain't out there running around for the Dolphins right now, and that's Jalen Ramsey. And once he comes in, they're going to have probably the best corners in the NFL. Give me the Dolphins and give me the cover for sure.
All right, Chargers at Vikings. Over-under is 54. This is
over.
Boys. People are expecting a lot of points. Kirk cut. This is one, man. Both teams are 0-2.
Someone has to go 0-3.
Someone has to go 0-3. Kirk Cousins has been playing he's been playing well, despite the fact that they're 0-2. I mean, Herbert hadn't been bad either. This game is at 12 p.m., which is 4 hours before Kirk Cousins' dinner, so I think he's going to be up and ready to go. Give me the Vikings. Give me them 34-31. They kick a field goal to win it.
Charges, baby. Charges. Kirk will blow it.
I was going to go that neither one of these teams can afford to go 0-3. I was thinking the same thing, Blaine, but if Austin Eckler's not going to play, which it sounds like he's not, then I guess give me the Vikings with about as little confidence as I can muster.
All right, Patriots. I love mustard. Patriots, Jets. Patriots, 2.5-point favorite going into New York. The over-under is 35. The Pats do what?
The over-under 14.5.
Yeah, for the first half.
Take the under.
It's 35. Yeah, I think this one's going to be ugly. I tell you though, I think the Jets find a way to win this one. I really think they do. I think Mac turns the ball over a couple times. Give me the Jets in a nail biter, 15-8.
I'm really interested to just see how this Mac Jones Bill O'Brien combination works out. Now, I mean, that was his OC. Wasn't he the OC when Mac was at Alabama?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna take Buffalo. I'm gonna take New England on the road.
I'm taking
here.
the Bills as well. I'm taking the Bills to win this one.
I'm gonna take. I want the Bills to win this AFC.
The Bills are definitely going to win this game.
Give me the
Zach
Patriots,
Wilson.
I guess.
Riding with the fear, baby. Got the fear in the car.
Love it. All right, Bills at the Commanders.
This one's
big
interesting, man.
Very interesting. Buffalo's a 5.5-point favorite. The over-under is 43. Boys, I like the over in this game. I think the Bills win it close in overtime. Give me Bills 24-21 in overtime.
Blaine, you gonna take the Redskins here or what? No, you're a big Sam Howell guy.
Bring me a towel. You know why. Yeah. Give me the Redskins.
You know what?
Brett.
I'll ride. Yeah, at home.
Brett.
I'll ride with you on that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey,
Let's
look,
go.
I may take the Redskins.
What's the Redskins money line right now?
I don't know. I got to look at it. I'm just seeing Buffalo minus 5.5. Just a
It
guy on
is
Buffalo.
Hold on, I'm
plus
pulling it up.
210.
Ooh,
That's a nice little dog pick right there.
it is. Or do I just buy it up
Plus
to 7.5
210.
and say, listen, let's just hold on. All right, Texans at the Jags. Jags scored 9 points against the Chiefs. Ooh, gross. CJ Stroud not playing that bad for as much as he's getting pressured. I like the over in this game at 43.5.
The CJ Stroud Nico Collins combination is really coming into full effect. I like to see it. Won't be enough though. Give me Jacksonville.
Yeah, Doug. Maybe if you wouldn't have cut your son, we'd score in the red zone. You ever thought about that?
He did cut his son.
Give me the Jags. We got to figure it out.
All right, Colts at the Ravens. Ravens are 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 43. It looks like Lamar kind of figured it out after being rusty after week 1. Give me the Ravens at home. Anthony Richardson, if he does play, how many quarters until he gets hurt because he runs it too much? I don't think he is. I think it's Gardner Minshew, which scares me.
I like Gardner Minshew, man. Ravens, another one of the
States playing right now.
Yeah, Ravens, another one of those teams that just like quietly going about their business. It's not pretty, but they're winning games. Give me the Ravens at home.
Yeah, need a lot of Mark Andrews in this game.
Me too.
No Zay Flowers. No.
None.
I thought you picked Zay Flowers up.
In what?
In what? What do you mean in what?
Life.
In fantasy.
Yeah, not in the league I need to win.
Okay.
We're talking money leagues, Dave.
The one in my survival pool, please, Giants, help us, God. Even though it's not the Giants, it's the Panthers at the Seahawks. Andy Dalton, the Ginger Warrior, taking the
never bet against a gene
Apollo
deficiency.
takes his daily race. Playing at the Seahawks. Seahawks coming off a big win at the Lions. They're a 5-point favorite. I'm gonna will this in here. Give me Seahawks. All right, 31-13. It's a beatdown. Let's go.
Everybody, you know what? I'm gonna help you out, Jake. I'm gonna help you out here, and you thank me later, and maybe you cut me in on the winnings. You know, Carolina is going to win this game hands down. Carolina's already run this game probably by double digits. All right. Andy Dalton's going to come in there and say, hey, you believe in Gingers now? Geno Smith's not the answer. Carolina Panthers are going to win this game. Jake, that's for you.
This feels like a 4-point Seattle win.
I'll take it.
What'd you have it at?
It's a Survivor League. He just needs them to win.
I don't care if they win by half a point.
It's a Survivor League. You know, the more I look at it, the more I look at this game, I think the Panthers are going to pull it out.
Yeah.
I think they're going to pull it out. I think Andy Dalton never bet against a gene deficiency. He's going to come in here and figure it out. All right. I think give me the Panthers money.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Bears at the Chiefs. 12.5-point favorite. That's a big
12.5.
Absolutely dysfunctional. Why would I not take it at 12.5 though?
Yeah, that's the NFL script. Oh wait, yeah, Bears cover. Or maybe even win outright.
By 11. Give me the Chiefs big. Give me the Chiefs 41-17. Big.
Chiefs next.
Bears money line.
Yeah.
Shut up, Blaine.
I'm serious.
That's how it works. That's how the NFL script works.
Look. I'm dead serious. If you're in the
What's the money line right now on that?
I bet it's plus 400.
Yeah, you might be right. Plus 380 something maybe.
Plus
Yeah.
500.
Wow, plus 500.
You
And
bet,
and there,
you bet the
and
Bears
there's
money line.
and there's a reason. And
Yeah,
there's a
you bet the
reason.
Bears money
Yeah.
line. Justin Fields,
Hey,
wheels.
I don't know if you
The
saw or not.
difference.
Travis Kelce got his next booster shot. Chiefs, no shot.
Yeah,
No-
exactly. Beer.
Wow,
Bears,
No
man, what a
shot.
week for
money line.
No
Travis
shot.
Kelce.
Yeah.
The Bears
Dating
win.
Taylor Swift got your ninth booster.
It's crazy. You start dating Swift, that's Pfizer's paying you.
Mm, wow.
She's a leader of the
Amazing how that
Illuminati.
works, right?
I've said it
talk
many
about
times.
talk about a globalist agenda.
All right, Cowboys at the Cardinals. The Cardinals absolutely blew it last weekend against the Giants, but did they? If you really want Caleb Williams, I know they have Kyler Murray, but we'll see. I like the Cowboys in this one, even without Diggs. I like the over 43.5. I think there's gonna be a lot of.
Do they
points.
cover, though? Do the Cowboys cover?
The 13?
12.5.
I'm looking. It says 13 right here, but you may have
A
it. as
lot of
12.5
points on the
yours.
road. Man.
Yes. I don't think the Cardinals get up like they got up last week.
I like Dallas to win the football game. I don't know about 12.5 on the road, but I like this
What would you
Dallas
put it
team,
at?
man. Man, anything
buy
over
down
10,
9.5?
anything over 10 is a lot of points. And if I did take the 49ers against the Giants, that one hit for us when we left it at 10.5. But they were at home though.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Steelers at the Raiders. Ew. Both teams are 1-1. The Raiders are a 3-point favorite, over 43.5. Man, I just don't know about the Steelers team, man.
I know.
I don't know.
It's weird.
It's like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just can't be steady. The Raiders last week it kind of snowballed on a little bit. But I'm going to take the Raiders because it is at home and they have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, and at some point Josh Jacobs is going to freak out. Kenny Pickett, man, it's so hit or miss. George Pickens is a monster. I love Najee, but give me the Raiders at home.
Sometimes I watch Jimmy Garoppolo play quarterback. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to look. And then other times I watch him and I'm like, oh, he's hurt again.
Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to look.
Give me the Raiders at home, I guess.
Eagles Bucks on a Monday.
Yeah, we'll
talk about that Monday.
Yeah, we'll preview that one tomorrow. You taking the Raiders or the Steelers?
Oh, yeah, I said Raiders. I'm going Raiders.
Gotcha. All right. Donos, real quick before we get up out here.
All right. Brock McNeil, $5 donation. I was offered Evans for Barkley. Do I accept it? I already have Henry, Williams, and Etienne on the squad. Wide receivers are weak with Michael Thomas and McLaurin.
I mean, yeah, if that's where you're weak.
Mike Evans?
It's
yeah.
It's not like a huge that's like an actual decent trade where
Mike Evans still balling.
I have a contract here too. The Bucs said they aren't going to pay him. I'd take that trade.
I would do it. All right, that's the donos.
All right, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. Any parting thoughts as we get ready for Week 5 of college football?
Hey, shout out Kyle McCord. Great win, man.
Yeah,
huge win
for them. And again, remember, it's a long year. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And like the chances of there being a truly elite team in college football this year, we're going. God.